Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. This is Straight Facts. I'm joined by Jessica Black this evening. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm getting better. I'm better. I'm coroned up. I've got the Rona, so I'm getting better. But definitely tired. A few people in the comments late start. Yeah, apologize for that, but we're here now. Not to worry. I've had a few camera issues this week. First of all, lead that connects this camera to my computer broke, and now I'm using a webcam and the white balance has gone off. So I've been trying to fix it, but don't worry about it. It's all good. Lots going on in the football world to delve into this afternoon. Now we're going to look a little bit more into the Aubameyang Arteta fallout. A lot of the supposed truths have come to light from that. We're going to take a look at some transfer news as well, with Kieran Trippier to Newcastle looking like it's close to being a done deal. We're going to delve into Martial and Calvert-Lewin's potential transfers, maybe even as early as January as well, and take a look ahead at tonight's game between Arsenal and West Ham, a big London derby. Make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you've shared this stream on your social media platforms, and please follow our Twitch account. We will be starting very soon our watch-alongs exclusively on Twitch. So go and get yourselves following our Twitch account right now. The link for that is one, it's in the description below, and I'll also make it a little bit easier for my wonderful viewers. We're going to post it in the live comments and pin it in the live comments. So it's one click away to go and follow us over on Twitch. If you are watching on Twitch already, hello, everyone on Twitter. How you doing? Give us a little retweet. But where to start? Where to start? What are you saying? Where are we starting?
It's your show. I'm not the host. Where do you want to start? I'm not the host. I'm the guest.
I understand that, but I'm asking. Okay, cool. Then I'll take the lead on it. I think, look, for me, I wanted to start with everything that's going on with the Aubameyang because I wanted to speak to you about it. More has come out in the past sort of 12 to 24 hours in relation to what's going on and everything else, and it's a real intriguing one for me now because one of the questions I was asking yesterday is sort of when I was on with Lee was what actually happened? What caused the problems between Arteta and Aubameyang? And it's now revealed that he was given permission, yes, to go away and see the sick mother, to bring her back for the Christmas period. He was told to report back on the Wednesday night. He didn't return and report back until the Thursday morning. The claims are he 100% knew, according to Arsenal, Arteta, etc. Aubameyang's making counterclaims that he just was a misunderstanding and he thought he just had to return on Monday. I think he was meant to return Wednesday night for COVID testing so that he was eligible to train Thursday morning, but he just turned up to training Thursday morning. Of course, couldn't just walk in, had to be tested. And the club kind of feel that it's a further disciplinary issue. In the same report, says talk of there being issues within the playing camp and at Arsenal when they were frustrated that not only did he miss the opening game of the season against Brentford due to COVID, but it's the fact that only a few days prior he sort of hosted a birthday party with guests at it for his son's birthday, I believe. So there seems to be a lot more coming out now about these disciplinary issues. There's been a lot of sort of counterclaims, the likes of Piers Morgan acting like there's a witch hunt for him and it's wrong. You had Leanne, I want to say Sanderson, somebody her name, kind of asking why Aubameyang's being treated like this and not Harry Kane. So some people seem to be defending Aubameyang in this. Others feel that, now that the truth is and the fallout is being revealed, that the right thing to do is strip him. What's your take on it now that, it's all kind of done and dusted?
You're going to hate me because the heat is on. Can you hear it? Sorry.
No.
I'll turn it off. You can't? Okay, good. So with the whole Aubameyang thing, I'm tired. I'm so tired of it. For me, it's just one of those things where I woke up and I saw the little reports that it wasn't that he was unwell. It was that he's, being omitted from the squad for Southampton because he had disciplinary issues. And it was just okay, again, I don't really know how you can defend him that much because you're a grown up, show up on time, literally. And I don't think the club was, for me, I don't understand why Arteta would blow up his spot if there was a chance that Aubameyang was just confused about the COVID timings and all of that. Because Arteta's blowing up his whole thing right now to make a point of this. So if there was a chance that, Aubameyang, it was just a misunderstanding, why would he go to this extent? Like, it's the captain of the team, it's a popular dude, it's the guy that's getting paid the most. That doesn't really make sense to me that it was just a misunderstanding. But he's a grown up. Like, why can't he show up on time? Like, this is elite level sport. And I get that, you make mistakes and some players are treated differently than others. But that's when we're talking about like man management on the pitch, playing stuff. This is not playing stuff. Like, this is him not being able to show up on time to a North London derby, him not being able to show up on time, when there was an agreed upon time. And nobody is saying that he shouldn't go see his mom, and that's not most important. I think the club made it very clear that they were okay with him going ahead and doing that. So it's just weird that, like, he just can't get it together. But when they made him captain in the first place, I was like, so essentially we don't have one. If you've been following Aubameyang for his career, this is just how he is. He's a typical kind of striker dude anyway, which I think it's difficult to get your strikers to be good captains. It's not necessarily the best position to have your captain be a striker. But not only that, like, we know Aubameyang, he's all about himself, and that's not any shade to him. We just know him well by now. So when you make him captain, which is the typical Arsenal thing to do because you're trying to keep somebody, you're essentially saying, we don't care about the leadership. It just is what it is. So for me, I'm not shocked. I'm bored. And it just puts a more unnecessary pressure on the team going into a really important match. A lot of people were saying maybe he shouldn't have stripped him of the captaincy because we have an important game. Well, maybe he should have been on time because we have an important game. You know what I mean? So I don't really blame Arteta for it. I think any manager, whatever manager it would have been that stripped him, I would have been cool with it. It's just now that there'll be that confirmation bias after the game if we do not get a good result that Arteta's made some mistake, when I just don't see it that way if he hasn't lost the dressing room. So it's this big thing that personally I just feel like is so unnecessary, but it's more unnecessary on Aubameyang's part because he should just come back on time,
Yeah, and Sunshine, I heard Laura Woods say this as well, and the Sunshine has said it here, that he went to get a tattoo and got stripped of the captaincy. So there's also an element of it's still not being completely revealed, but it feels like, again, the tattoo story came out the same night, the same time as the disciplinary issue. Like, he was meant to report back for training on the Wednesday night, but it appeared maybe he went to get a tattoo then and went to training on the Thursday morning. And again, if these things are true, and no disrespect to Aubameyang, he's got previous of disciplinary issues. I just don't understand why anybody can be defending him. I mean, it's one of those things where he hasn't done anything egregious along the lines, he hasn't done a John Terry or a Ryan Giggs with a teammate or a brother's wife. He hasn't been caught, a drugs cheat. It isn't anything that's like heinous. But in some respects, it's just continue. It's a tally up, isn't it? He hasn't gone in with a 2-footed leg breaking tackle. It's just lots of niggly issues over the course of time, and he's got himself sent off in a game. That's what he's done for me. It's just the continual issues with him, and I think especially when your team has just had 2 very humbling defeats, the fans are frustrated. That's when you need your captain to step up, and allowing him to go home and pick up his sick mother. Of course, I've actually seen people get angry. I saw someone tweet yesterday, they remain nameless, saying they're backing the player because how dare a club strip him of his captaincy because he wanted to go and see his sick mother. It's like, bruv,
it's not even what it is.
If that's how you've read this, then you're either stupid, or you're being deliberately deliberately kind of controversial, like you're making it up now. Like, he absolutely deserved to be stripped of it. And now that the truth is coming out and we're seeing what it was about, he's got no one else to blame. But for me, the next step is this: they've got to sell him. I see no way he can recover. I don't think he should even play for you again. I don't even see how that dynamic's even going to work. I don't know about you. Do you see him being able to play and perform again for Mikel Arteta?
Yeah, I don't really know if I would go to that extent. But prior to this, I feel like we should move on. That's just I'm not quiet on that. Like, he's not doing it. It's just bad. But at the same time, I don't know if I would go that far because I'm not quite sure what their relationship is. Often when we see situations like this, it's made Aubameyang versus Arteta, and they don't like each other, and they're going at each other's throats and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if it's he'll never play for Arsenal again. I don't know, because also, who's taking him off of our hands? Who's taking him off of our hands? Like, that's another thing. Like, I just don't know if there's an opportunity to move him on. But that being said as well, like, I'm not sure if it's Ozil Arteta level, standoff with the two of them over the last over the last year or so. It's been more reported that like they're okay with each other. I'm not sure. So because I'm not behind, I don't know. It looks bad, but equally, I could see in a couple of games or even after AFCON, him coming back and playing at least to the end of the season. So I'm not sure if I would go, that far, but I can understand why people would want to move him on. But if this is what took you, like, you know what I mean? It's like, how have you watched the last year or so and thought that this is the time that we should have got rid of him? Like, what have you been watching? We've needed a new striker.
No,
What's this?
I get that. I get that. But I look at it from this way, Jay. I feel like you strip someone of the captaincy. The problem is, I know maybe you're not missing this. Maybe you're aware of it. You haven't said it, though.
Yeah.
There is Aubameyang is claiming that he's being mistreated, that he doesn't agree with the version of events that are being put out by Arsenal. And when I say Arsenal, I mean Arteta, but he's backed by Arsenal. Arteta is backed by Arsenal. So it's Arsenal's word where he speaks. And he feels like that isn't quite the case. I feel like this could he's not available for today's game. I think it's a very difficult position for him to work himself back into the team. I feel like you're going to have to get rid of him to maintain for him to maintain some kind of power, because I wouldn't be surprised if Aubameyang now is going to work against him in the dressing room. Maybe not, and it will work against Arsenal. This is not good timing with everything else that you've got going on, and I think you've got to try and cash in on him. And I said it the other day, even if it means you still pay a percentage of his wage, getting him out of your football club is the most important thing now. And they're looking elsewhere because you need a prop. I've heard talk about this. Give the captaincy to Lacazette. Fuck off. He's only marginally better as a striker. You need to go. You give the captaincy to Lacazette. That means you have to play more, right? You need someone better than Lacazette as well.
This is where I disagree just slightly, because people are assuming that this is the locker room or the dressing room of old. These boys don't have any allegiance to Aubameyang. They were mostly all signed by Arteta.
How do you know that?
But you're assuming that he is going to disrupt the dressing room. What I'm saying is that I'm not sure about that, because they were signed by Arteta. Most of them were re-signed by Arteta. The guys that have left over from Emery and Wenger are outnumbered in that dressing room. So you'll see today and within the next couple of games through the Leeds game, as well as I forget who we play, Norwich away. We'll know right away if it's toxic. It's always like that. But this is not the Ozil, Mustafi, Kolasinac dressing room that's quick to turn on a manager.
I didn't want to let you finish. I'm not suggesting it's the same dressing room. One poisonous player who's upset with the manager staying around that dressing room for the rest of this season is just not good. In every single...
It's not good, but it's not going to... I don't think it's that level.
In every single corporate environment I've worked in, when a senior member of staff says they want to leave or they're going to go, they put them on gardening leave because they don't want their influence in the building anymore. And I think it's going to be important for Arsenal to do that. Unless, this is the only caveat, if Aubameyang comes in and completely accepts his punishment, shakes Mikel Arteta's hand, and fights to get back in that team. If he's just sitting there on that bench, sort of like stewing or sitting in the stand stewing, but then he's in the training ground every day. It is never good to have that individual within a.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit on the we don't know. So we're both assuming on one side or the other. I'm not 100% convinced that they hate each other. And of course, Aubameyang has to come out and give his version of the
Okay,
story.
so let's just paint a hypothetical. If there is an ongoing issue between the two, would you keep him at the club beyond January?
No, but at the same time, who's going to take him? This
But
is
that
the
isn't the
whole
question. That isn't the question, though.
but it
That is the
is
question.
like
No,
that is the main that
no,
is
'cause this
more
is
important
that isn't
than
the question.
wanting
The
to get rid
question.
of him and being able to are two completely different things.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, do you want him to get rid of him? The answer is yes. Like, whether you can or not, I get that's a different
Yeah, but
conversation.
I never said that I
But
didn't want to get rid of him. I started
should,
out saying that I
I
wanted
get
to
that,
get rid of him.
but then that's the answer. Then, like, you should
But
be looking
you're
to get rid of.
painting a picture that based on what you're assuming, essentially, which a lot of people are, that they're in a standoff, they hate each other, he's going to be toxic, and the players around him are going to pick his side over
No,
Arteta's.
I
That's what
again,
you're basically saying.
let me go back. I did not for a single second say they would pick his side. I said it's just a poisonous situation to have within the dressing room. I don't necessarily think you're going to get 20, 30 players turn around and side with Aubameyang and down tools, but it's not a good environment to live and work in. What you do find often can happen, though, is Aubameyang will still have friends in this dressing room. And if at any point they feel like Aubameyang is being mistreated, it can cause problems for
But
management.
we'll know whether they feel that way because again, you read the report just like I did, that it wasn't just coaching staff that thought that Aubameyang was being an asshole. It was
Yeah.
teammates as well. So we'll know within these next couple of games how toxic it's going to be. Do I agree that it's good to is it good to have Aubameyang around if there's some underlying tension between him and Arteta? No. But do I believe that somebody that is probably not going to play for the rest of this month will not be here for AFCON, like, because he'll be in AFCON. He'll have what, February, March, April, May, 4 months or so. Do
Yeah.
I believe that that's just going to be Ozil levels? Not really. Probably a couple of steps below that, but without the influence in that dressing room, I just don't
I,
see it
I
that way.
again, I look at this way. I think he'll have massive influence in the dressing room with friends. I look at this. I reiterate what I say because I know what I'm saying is bang on. If he is upset with Arteta and remains in that dressing room for the season, it could be detrimental. Therefore, it's a risk to maintain that. Yes, they've got to try and get rid of him. Yes, they've got to try and sell him, and that may not be possible. They'd have to probably fall on their sword and lose money, but it would be too much of a risk for me if it was my club and there was problems. However, if he accepts it, if he's like cool, then I think he can turn around and then you can keep
I
him.
mean, you validated your own point, but I feel like what I'm saying is also true that it may not be to the level in which you're saying because again, he
That's what I
has to
just
have more
that's
influence
what I just
than
said.
you
Though
think he does.
that's what I just said. If there
You
isn't,
you
if there
said
isn't,
I am
if there-
100% bang on.
no, I am bang on. I am bang on. If there's a
I'm bang
problem,
on.
hang on, and let me reiterate this again. If there's a problem and you keep him, that's a risk. Yes.
Yeah, if it's to the levels in which
And
you said.
yeah, if there's that's a risk. If there is no problem, then it's okay, right?
Sure.
Then I'm bang on.
Yeah, but we don't know if that's true. So,
It's
yeah.
either there's either a problem or there isn't a problem.
No, the level in which the problem is important as well.
So this could just be but this thing is too big for it not for if there's a
No, you know what's
what do
making
you
it really big
mean? Come
is
on.
the media. The media, you know that the
This
media
ain't the media.
goes
This is not the
hard. The
media.
media goes
This is
hard.
not
They're
the
like, "Oh,
media.
it's a
No. This is
standoff.
how
They're
is this
going at each other." I get
how
that
is
he's stripping
this is
it
not
it
the
is big.
media. This
It
is not
is
the
big, but
media.
what you're basically saying is
Arteta.
that no, what you're basically trying to make it into is the Ozil thing. I don't think it's at
I'm
that
not
level
talking
whatsoever
about
because
Ozil.
Ozil had
I'm
no, because
talking
but I'm
about a
using it as an
player.
example. I'm
Okay, go
using
on,
it
go on.
as an example
Right, okay.
because they haven't. I personally, I believe from what has been going on is the relationship between Ozil and Arteta is nothing like the relationship between Arteta and Aubameyang. Does that mean that they're going to get along and it's going to be rosy? I'm not sure. But again, he has to have that level of influence around him. Like he has to be able to influence. And right now he's got Lacazette and Pepe. He don't play. What's he gonna do? Like, you know what I mean?
No, so you saying that he has no influence and none of the other players listen to Aubameyang?
What? Well, what are you going to listen to? I mean, again, his teammates, his own teammates had concerns about him being the captain. We read that. You read that just like I read that.
Yes or no?
So
you don't think
and
he has
these
any
are the
influence?
players.
So,
I think you're more
I want
likely
to go back. We go back. Let's go back. I want to understand. So you don't think he has any influence over any other players in that squad?
I think Arteta has more influence than him over the current crop of players that are there. That is what matters. That's what matters.
That ain't what I'm asking you.
Because you're asking me a question that's going to lead to you being bang on. I'm telling you.
I'm not. I'm really, really not. All I'm saying to you is I'm trying to go back around to where we started on this again. If there's a problem, and again, you can say to what degree, if there's a serious problem between the two of them, I don't think you can keep him. And if the reports that everyone that's happy, this is why I say we can't be disregarding the reports, as I feel you've just done, the media blowing it up. The same reports that are telling us that he was meant to come back on the Wednesday, but he didn't report back to the Thursday, the tattoo, this and this and that. Everybody's using that as their confirmation that they're right as fans to be angry with Aubameyang. But those same journalists reporting that Aubameyang is pushing back, that there's a dispute between the two, that's being twisted into nonsense media. So you can't. I find it's wrong to.
I didn't say it was nonsense.
Let me just finish my point. I feel like it's sort of like you can't 1 minute. You can't 1 minute be like the media are blowing this up, but then use the same media outlets to claim I'm right for wanting Aubameyang gone. The media outlets are either telling us the truth or they're over egging everything. And if they're over egging everything, then maybe you shouldn't be as angry with Aubameyang as you're making it out to be. I don't understand that logic. It doesn't make sense to me.
They said that Aubameyang said he didn't agree with the way that it was put out there. He has to defend himself in some way, shape, or form. That's just how it goes. But do I believe that behind closed doors, it's the exact same, like going back and forth and they're really like, I'm not sure, but I get what you're saying. All I'm saying is that even though it could go bad, which I agree with, it could go bad, which is what you're saying. But I think you're leaning towards it will be. I say it could, but I don't really believe it's going to be as bad as you're making it out to seem. I think we both believe that it could, but I think you think more.
Again, so I see. Again, you're assuming something that isn't true with me. I'm simply stating if things are as the media outlets are claiming, it's a risk to keep him at the club. And I think if you keep him at the club and it doesn't go as positively as you and other Arsenal fans, people like yourself want it to, it could be detrimental. I think the club needs to be very, very careful with how they handle this. You know, they've gone public with it straight away. I think they're by the way, I've praised everything Arsenal have done so far. Right to out him publicly. And I'm not someone that
I don't think that we're saying much of different. I'm just saying from my perspective.
Let me just finish my point then. So you're right to out him publicly because I think it's the continuation of these problems. And I bet you'll find if the Arsenal was to be really open and honest, there's been more that we don't know about behind the scenes as well. I think you're bang on to strip him of his captaincy. He's now come out publicly and defended himself via the media. If that isn't the end of it, I don't see how it doesn't escalate internally. And maybe it escalates in a way that betters things for Arteta because everybody unifies and says, you know what, Aubameyang, screw you, we're back in the manager. That might work as well. I just, in my lifetime and in my experience, when you have a poisonous member of staff in and around the good people, it always becomes a problem. It always gets in the way of progression and growth. And I just think Arsenal need to be mindful of how they manage it. See here with the super chat says, Jess is right, Terry. Calmer. I don't know what that means. It means that mean calm down. Jess seeing through the BS is what Tony here has got to say. Jess moving like a politician is what Francisco's got to say. It's interesting how people read it a little bit differently on there. That's a weird comment. Terry Biden. Okay, there's a rat army emoji here on this one as well. But yeah, Jess has the skills to be a politician. A few people have said that. Quite a few people are saying Jess is right on this. Terry is wrong. Cool. I just think that, I'll be honest with you, Jess, I think I know what you're doing, though. You're doing a typical Gooner thing.
No,
You
I'm
know
not.
it's you know it's negative about your club, but you're trying to put the positive spin on it to make it sound a lot better than it really
No, I
is.
haven't made a positive spin. All I said that you're kind of pushing back on is
No.
that I believe that this. Okay, no. You gonna let me finish or no?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, go on.
fine. Let's
Go
move
on.
on to the next section.
I'm letting you
No,
finish.
next
I was just,
section.
oh, go for it. Go for it.
No,
Come on.
next
You know what you're
section.
doing. You know what you're doing.
I haven't put a positive spin on it. Because I think again, if come on, like he doesn't have more influence in that dressing room than Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta not only has the backing of the Cronkies and everybody working at that club, but the players as well. So it may go bad, but I still don't envision it to be this World War III thing that I feel like you're painting it up to be,
No.
that could destroy us and all this kind of stuff, which is usually, that's all I'm saying.
So what
But
I
I
will
never
reiterate,
said that it was a good thing,
let
and
me
I
just
didn't say it was
reiterate.
rosy and
Let me,
positive. Because you guys in the comments, have I said anything that made it seem like it was a positive that we're going through this?
I'm just, by the way, I'm just
Let me
winding you
know.
up. I'm just winding you up. It's called a joke. What I will say is that, let me just reiterate my stance. I've never said that it's World War III. I didn't say the whole thing's going to come crumbling down. It's the worst thing to happen to Arsenal Football Club. I'm just stating, and I feel like I'm right on this, and there's nothing anybody can say to change my mind. When you have a disgruntled player in a manager dispute and a senior player at that, keeping them there it runs a very high risk of things going wrong. And I would say this is coming from the Arsenal fan base who a few days ago after losing to Everton were like, are these asking, after you guys lose games, the question that comes out quite a lot is, are these players playing for the manager? And I think that's what would stand out to me. That question comes up on such a regular basis. A few losses in, if Aubameyang's there, it becomes a talking point. When Ozil was there, you guys were struggling, right? Do you remember during that period with Ozil? And it wasn't until like the likes of Ozil were moved on. I remember people, and I'm not saying the situation is identical, but every time you guys went through a bad period, Ozil being there became a problem. And I know Aubameyang has missed chance recently. If he's sitting on that bench or he's in the reserves and you guys go for a few games where you're not scoring, you know what's coming up. It becomes a side story, becomes a problem each and every single time. And I think Arteta should do the sensible thing. If they can find a buyer, move him on, reinvest that money, and we'll get onto players like, Calvert-Lewin, someone along those lines, someone that's better than every striker you've currently got at your club, can improve you on the field of play, help keep the harmonious nature in the dressing room. I think that's what Arsenal have got to go and do, in my opinion. Comment here says, Paul was the same way in dressing. Sorry. Paul was the same way, and the dressing room was toxic. Is that how do you know he means Paul Pogba?
Paul was the same, and the dressing room was toxic, but you didn't emphasize like this that he should leave Man United, like you're doing with Aubameyang.
Okay, so when Man United and when Jose Mourinho, are you really pulling that face, Jess? Like that's what I've done.
All I'm saying is that you need to answer the question.
If you watch my stuff, then you know that in what I did. When Jose Mourinho and Paul Pogba fell out and Jose wanted to sell him, I said the club should always back the manager in those circumstances. Okay. Jose called him toxic. A lot of people didn't believe that he was toxic, and the club ended up siding with Paul Pogba by keeping him. On Paul Pogba's behavior around asking to leave and talking like this, what have I always said? I said that I think the club should sell him. So, Mr. Stevens, I don't really understand what you're talking about, because again, that's just never, ever, ever what I've said. So that doesn't, with all due respect, I respect you for super chatting, but I've never once ever done that. I don't get it. I don't get the comment, bro. It's one of them ones there. But yeah, I don't know. But there we go. Strange. But thank you. We have some more super chats here to do. I missed one. I want to go back to it here. Let me just find it. I always heard Arsenal fans say they want new players, but never a new manager. They still think Arteta is the man for the job. I don't feel bad for them. He's gone. He's good. Sorry, it's gonna be 2045. Still in trust the process mode is what Sosa's got to say. When you out someone publicly, make it about yourself and trying to look tough. All Arteta is doing, real ones see through it. I think I get what you're saying there, my friend Terry. They should have sold Saka to Saka. I can't even speak. My brain's going. Xhaka too. But look, Tarek here said, I never thought Aubameyang should be captain, but poor man management from Arteta had problems with. Sorry, I really can't read today. I never thought Aubameyang should be captain, but poor man management from Arteta had problems with Aubameyang, Laka, Pepe, Guendouzi, Ozil, Saliba, Torreira, and Maitland-Niles. Do you think there's anything in that, in all the claims about all those problems of those players? Do you feel like that is an Arteta issue?
I mean, if you don't like Arteta, it becomes he doesn't know how to man manage. But if you look at each situation by itself, some of those guys were just, I mean, Pepe, everybody would admit that he's had enough chances under Arteta. He hasn't had issues with Lacazette. That's a weird one. Guendouzi is a known asshole. Ozil, he wasn't great at the back end of Wenger. He wasn't great under Unai Emery, very toxic, and was toxic under Arteta as well. Saliba, that's one of those where, I guess you could look at it and say that maybe Arteta in some ways didn't handle it correctly. I watch Saliba play every week and I still don't see somebody who's ready to start for Arsenal Football Club. So maybe that's just me. Now, when it comes down to Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I think I'm not sure about that one either. Torreira, he just didn't like him, and it's kind of like you come into a new club and sometimes you don't play under the new manager. So I'm not sure if that's poor man management. What you could look at is that some of those players are the better players. And there is a narrative that, like, if you push back against Arteta and you're vocal, he'll kind of stuff you down and he doesn't want you around. So I definitely hear that. But when I look at those in isolated situations, do I actually think that any of those players, if they were in this team right now, would be getting us closer to where we want to be? I would probably say beyond maybe playing more to Aubameyang's strengths. Saliba, hopefully we can keep him. Ozil, I mean, he was pretty dead before Arteta came here, so not really. But I hear what people are saying. And maybe I think what he wants to do is come in at base level and like change the culture so he doesn't have that finesse yet to like treat different players in certain ways. I don't know. I'm not sure because some of those players I just don't rate. Do you think that there's something to it? Because I'm looking at it like, do any of those players really improve us? Are they really great players that are clearly good that he's just pushing off to the side?
I don't necessarily think it's about how good they are. I think it's the way things were handled. And I'm not even saying that Arteta was wrong to out some players, move some people on. It just seems like there's always toxicity with it. There's a way in which you're doing things in life and still keeping people on side. And I think that Arteta's biggest struggle is that he's inexperienced and he's never done this job before. And he's learning as he goes.
Who is he outed there? Like, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out beyond Aubameyang and Ozil.
Outed
anybody.
Outed or the way he's treated them, the way he's gone about what he's doing. So, for instance, Maitland-Niles, you speak about, promised time in the team, has a few games, has a very good performance, and then is not playing games again. I'm only going by then what we hear and see. It's like, well, what's he done not to get more opportunities? I liken it very much.
Xhaka came back. That's what happened.
Yeah, but then a lot of people, but people look at that as being absolutely. A lot of people think that's egregious. The man was out for however long.
Is Granit Xhaka better than Ainsley Maitland-Niles or not? I hear what people are saying.
Let's not skip over that. So you think Xhaka, after being out for 3 months, returning straight away is a better option than Maitland-Niles?
Not necessarily. but I can understand why you brought him straight back in. And we all knew that he was going to come straight back in. Ainsley Maitland-Niles probably would have been gone had Everton put some money on the table. So I get what you got. I get what people are trying to say, and I hear their side of the story. And I do think that
Mhm.
Arteta struggles sometimes. And I think sometimes he's heavy-handed. Like, I would like him to handle things a little bit differently. But when I look at it, if you've been here for a while, you knew that the only reason why Ainsley was playing was because Thomas Partey was injured. As soon as Thomas Partey came back in, he was out. And then Xhaka came back and Sambi was out. Adu already said that those are the starting
Cool.
midfielders. So I guess when I just know something is going to happen, I'm a little bit less like, oh my gosh. And when I
Okay.
look at Ainsley before this season,
Yeah.
nobody thought that he would play
I think
midfield.
some Arsenal fans, again, I want to just put over this one quickly because I can't. You'll probably respond, but I can't answer for them. A lot of Arsenal fans that have come on here have sort of they feel that, for instance, Maitland-Niles as an example hasn't been given ample opportunity, but the reports are he's been promised he's going to get it, and if that is true, some will look at that as mismanagement.
Yeah, I
Uh,
haven't heard that.
Jess's last point is exactly why Arteta shouldn't have commented on it in the first place. Just say no comment and move on. I think the problem is in massive defense of Mikel Arteta, if you're going to strip him of his captaincy, you've got to address it publicly beforehand. Because if the news randomly came out that Aubameyang's had his captaincy stripped, you can't say nothing. So I think Arteta is absolutely right to go public with it this time round, because if you're going to strip him, you're going to strip him.
Hmm.
Um, Terry, Terry's in the mud. I'm not too sure what I'm in the mud for. Terry lost that one. No, not really. So if I don't see how I lost. If you want to keep Arteta, if you think Arteta's right to keep a disgruntled player at the club, then you're cool with that. If he is disgruntled, I did say if he isn't, then he's fine to keep. So I don't really get what there is to lose. But there we go. Terry, you definitely said you'd like the club to keep Paul Pogba. Of course I would. I'd love for Paul Pogba to be able to stay. But as I've said, if the relationship between Paul and the club has broken down, you have to move him on. I don't understand what the issue is. I've always said as well, if a manager doesn't want a player, the manager should have the power and the anonymity to remove that player, whoever he is. If the club isn't going to back the manager in that decision, they should be removing the manager instantly because they're supporting players over management. Nothing has changed in relation to that argument right now, my people. But thank you very, very much for your comments. Jess, there's a question for you. Jess, are you Arteta in or out?
I don't
You
know.
definitely
I don't really.
backed him a lot tonight. You backed him a lot tonight again.
Yeah, because I'm not really like, I can look at things and I know I'm not supposed to. I'm just because ultimately, if you don't like Arteta, you'll say that what he's done to Aubameyang is wrong, but I don't necessarily feel that way. So when I'm looking at this situation, I think Aubameyang is wrong. And do I think that all those players have done everything right? No. Do I think Arteta's done everything right? No. In terms of, is he the right man for the job? Right now, I'm thinking probably not. So take that how you want to.
No, I agree with you. I agree. I think everything he's done to Aubameyang on this occasion is spot on, absolutely spot on. I think he just needs to be very, like I've said, all he has to do is be very careful now how he manages it moving forward. Because if he stays and he goes too far, you can upset other players within the squad, and that has and can happen. If he gets rid of him and there's no replacement, that could be detrimental as well. Because I'm pretty sure at some point this season, if Aubameyang stays, he'll score some goals again. He's a pretty good goal scorer. He's just in bad form. So there's a real fine balancing act here. And this is where Arteta cuts his stripes and earns his stripes. Sorry, not cuts his stripes, earns his stripes as a manager more than a coach. This is where you really get to see how good somebody is in that relation to their job. Sorry, I read another super chat and I've already had that. I've already seen that one. I just wanted to make sure it was from the right person. In other news, though, that I want to speak to you about, Kieran Trippier. Kieran Trippier is reportedly very close to joining Newcastle. What would you make of that as a signing for the Toon Army?
Who do they have back there? I mean, I'm sure Kieran Trippier
Trippier.
is better than whoever they have there currently. Hopefully he might. I hope that he has something in his contract that would say if they went down, he doesn't have to stay, but they will come straight back up. I think that's might be a good signing for them. It's kind of like the level of signing that you would expect straight off the bat when they get their takeover. Somebody who's not quite in their prime, but has enough experience at the highest level to make a difference. And he's still playing at the international level. So I would say that that's a good signing. He's also leaderish, I think. At least Southgate views him as a leader. So yeah, I don't see why that sounds like the type of signing that they would make.
Is it hard to praise? Is it hard to praise him because he's ex-Spurs?
No, not really. I think he's a good player. Like, I just feel like I'm trying to I don't have like full knowledge on every single player all the time. I know he's a good player. Haven't watched him much at Atletico, but I think he's a decent enough and the right profile-ish type of guy. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure you think he's everything, right? Because he's English.
What? What? Do you know how much abuse that kind of comment will get me online?
It's not going to get you any abuse. It's going to get me abuse.
No,
I said it. You didn't react.
Surprised. Look, Kieran Trippier.
Well, you're a proud Englishman. That's what I'm trying to say.
But that doesn't mean I rate every single player that's English, because I'm not a deluded Englishman.
Okay, you're not deluded, but you're proud.
He's a lot better than what they've got. Is what I would say. I think he's very good. I think he's a very good football player. He's done very well for Diego Simeone in La Liga. He's obviously getting on a little bit now. Man United were linked with it. I think going on an offensive side of things, he's very good as well. Good crosser of the ball. I think he'll be an excellent signing for Newcastle. There's no doubt about it at all. United were linked with him. I was it was one of those signings I was sort of like half excited about, and then there are moments where you watch him and think, oh, I don't know if I really want him. He isn't of the standard of right back of Cole. For me, he's not as good as Kyle Walker. He's not as good as Reece James. He's not as good as Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not in the same ballpark. Cancelo. He isn't in the ballpark of those players. But he is international quality, there's no doubt. And I think for one of the first signings that Newcastle are going to pick up, he helps elevate their squad. He also brings Newcastle some real experience, having played both. He's been at World Cups, he's been at Euros, he's been in La Liga, he's been in the Premier League before, he's played in the Champions League before. So he gives Newcastle so much experience on that field of play. I think it's a good bit of business. And one of the reports I read earlier that suggested that it's almost done, pretty much over the line, on its way to being completed. And you've got to remember, in the summer there were a lot of reports suggesting that Trippier to Man United was very close to happening at times. So Man United were heavily pursuing him. I don't know how much people want to read into that, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I suppose it depends on your persuasion. But
well, that was pre-Ralph as well.
Sorry.
Pre-Ralph,
yes, it was pre-Ralph. It was pre-Ralph. And I mean, there's a lot of talk of Man United trying to do something, because Anthony Martial was linked with a move to Atletico Madrid. And there's talk about them looking to try and do a swap deal. I mean, Anthony Martial to Real Madrid, what kind of move do you think that would be?
Perfect for him. He needs a change of scenery. I mean, if you look at some of Anthony Martial's numbers, you'd be shocked to see that he can't get any minutes. He has tons of goals under his belt. He's a very well-rounded center forward, in my opinion. I know that he's not a natural center forward because he should be playing left wing. But as he's gotten a little bit older, he's like 24, 25 years old now, 25 years old, something around there. So he can play as kind of like that false nine type. He has the ability to control the ball, and he's a really good footballer. And it's sad to see that he has tapered off. I don't know if it's just due to his environment, or he hasn't been as motivated as he should have been. What I've heard is that he doesn't like competition. Like when competition comes in, he fades, which is not a good thing, but he needs a change of environment. He's too young and too talented not to be, getting minutes. And so for me, I think going to Atletico Madrid would be a good move. It's so weird how they have so many attacking players now, but it just seems like their attack is still not ticking the way it should. But if he could go over there and kind of rehabilitate his career, I think that'd be best for him. And I don't envision Manchester United selling him to anybody in the Premier League, because I think that would be, an advantage to somebody in the Premier League, because he is that good. In my opinion, he is that good. So I think he's very disrespected, but there's something there not mentally, but mentality wise, that he probably needs to get a grip on. But other than that, I mean, I think that that's a good move for him.
Yeah, he needs to get out of Man United for himself more than anything else. He hasn't progressed in the last couple of years, but he has all this ability. He has more ability than Marcus Rashford, but in the last 2.5 years, Marcus Rashford, in terms of his delivery, has pulled ahead of him. He doesn't like competition, and I think Marseille FC, the group, have really struggled in recent times because they know how talented he is, but he hasn't delivered, and it's always somebody else's fault. The fear I would have for him going to Atletico Madrid is, it's not like, I know he's older than him, but it isn't like their attacking players thrive. And you have to work really hard. And he's not renowned for working really hard, especially on a defensive. Like Man United fans, especially the Martial fanboys, I tell you now, for years, they would twist up with anger like a pretzel. They look like pretzels with anger. They're like this. They'd go all mental. If you mention him, Martial doesn't track or run or do this. It used to trigger them something chronic. How can he play for Diego Simeone and not do that?
Yeah, well,
And that's not. I'm not. That's not a dig at you. I'm not asking for you to answer that. It's fairly rhetorical. It's a case of, I want him to move, but I really don't think that Atletico Madrid will be the right place for him. Based on what I've seen.
What's the right place for him if he doesn't? I mean, I think he needs a kick up the ass. Like, I feel like that's what he kind of needs. And so I get what you're saying, that he doesn't work hard. But quite frankly, at this point in his career, if he doesn't start working hard, no matter where he is, he won't survive.
Do you know what he needs? I don't see. This is where I look at Martial. This is where ability and work rate are two different things. With the way he works, forget his ability. For Anthony Martial, he needs to be at a football club. You know how good Jesse Lingard looked at West Ham? Because nobody sits back and plays low block against West Ham, and there's a lot of space to run and work into. That's almost what Martial needs. He needs to be at a team that's going to be where he can be open and expansive, and there isn't so much pressure on him. He needs to go to a slightly smaller. If Atletico had more of an attacking manager, I would say Atletico would be a good place for him to be at. But I just feel like clubs that are going to play low block, he's going to struggle. Teams where he has to work hard, run and press and do a lot more than be creative and score goals, he's also going to struggle. I'm not too sure of the ideal place for him, but I worry for him going to Atletico Madrid. You know, the same way that we've seen I know he's much younger, but João Felix hasn't really turned into the player that we all expected him to. But yeah, look, I want him to get out of Man United, not because I dislike him. I've always enjoyed watching Anthony Martial play. I'm sad it hasn't worked out for him at the football club, but I stand by what Ralf Rangnick said, i.e. I'm standing by the managers when it comes to players that want out here. You know, Man United shouldn't be begging any one player, any one person to want to be here. We are Manchester United Football Club. And if you don't want to be here, toodle pip. Bon voyage. See you later. Like, just take care. And that's not my personal preference. I'd love for Martial to stay and go to the right level. But if he doesn't want to be here, that isn't going to happen. Then you roll him on and you move on to the next player, because there's been this idiotic notion from Man United fans in the past past couple of years. If Pogba leaves, we're finished as a club. If Martial leaves, we're finished as a club. What planet are you on? That means we've got about 5-6 years left of the club because they'll be retired. Then what?
Mhm.
Fucking stupidity. So there's a part of me that wants them to move on as well because there is life after them, and let's reinvest that money and let's see what else we can do. But look, if he does go to Atletico Madrid, I wish him well. And if they want a part swap deal, hopefully we can pick up a good bit of talent from over there. That would be the hope. You know, we can pick up a good midfielder or pick up a good attack. Maybe
You don't want any midfielders coming from there to you because they don't tend to
Well,
translate.
listen, don't time this us with just your party t.
It's not just Party, it's Saul as well. So there you go. But your
Sound like
boy
it's
Saul.
cool. Yeah, but he ain't my player, so I don't have to take that one on the chin. Do you know what I mean? It's what it is.
You said he would bang.
I think he will bang if he played regularly, but he ain't playing regularly. I always have a caveat there. Hashtag meme proof. Martial FC blames everybody for his failures, but him. Inconsistent, had 2 good seasons, hates competition, without the ball, doesn't offer anything. And look, I have to overtly agree with that. Martial's misgivings are down to him. You know, he could have worked harder. He could have pushed through those barriers. He chose not to. The right place for Martial is Arsenal, Jess. Would you like Martial at Arsenal?
A lot of Arsenal fans would feel like they wouldn't want him. And I know we don't like taking other teams' leftovers, but Martial is a good player. I would take him at Arsenal. But he ain't working hard. He ain't gonna work hard for us. So no, I wouldn't take him. I would, based on just like if it was fantasy, but like he ain't gonna work hard for us. He's not gonna work hard for us, you know? Like, so yeah.
Yeah, but he's better than any attacking player you've got right now. He's better than all your attackers.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just said I would take him because I think he's really talented, you know? I
Mm,
just said that, you know? But I
mm.
just don't feel like he would work hard for us, you know? I just don't see it, you know? And so, yeah, if he doesn't press and he doesn't like to not he doesn't work hard off the ball, then he won't be able to come here because that's what we're trying to get rid of with Aubameyang, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
so yeah.
look, in fairness, he works hard
But
on the
again, he's
yeah.
very talented, like I said, and I would take him at Arsenal if it was just about talent alone.
Yeah. I feel again. Yeah, no, I hear you. The only side thing outside of it is, can another manager, maybe it is Simeone at Ati, can they get in his ear and make him do these things? Maybe, I don't know. I think the only way around it again, at whatever club he's at, is if there's no one else fighting for his position. And maybe that's why smaller clubs needed. Because if he went to West Ham, they don't have anybody else that's as good as him. Does that make sense? In that position. And it's almost, unless he's injured, that position's his. And that's where I think he flourishes. I don't think he's top club material, because top clubs will always have somebody else fighting for your position. And I know that his fanboys hate that being said, but they only hate it because they know it's true. My guy Derek here says, Terry changing opinions with the wind is so boring. I'd love to know what opinion of mine changed, Derek, me old mucker. Let me know. Get the comments back in. I'm intrigued now. Speaking of Arsenal potential signings coming up front, though, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. How much would you? How good do you think he could do in an Arsenal trade? He's one that's linked with the January move to Arsenal. What are you saying about that?
Uh, this is gonna sound really bad. I get it. Let's preface this by saying, yes, he's better than what we have. So let's just put that out there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're always the right fit. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is very good, and he has the athleticism and the get up and go and the hardworking bit that we don't have. He would offer some sort of physical presence in the box, which we don't have. But I just worry about the price and then his ceiling. I personally don't think his ceiling is that high. I think his floor is a little bit higher than what we have, but his ceiling to me is not that high because he doesn't get any assists. I don't think he's particularly good on the ball. And the center forward that Arteta is going to want needs to be able to contribute to build up. And I just don't know if he's that guy. So I think he's better, and he would be a good option for us to bring in like next, because we're not quite at the point where we could bring in a world-class striker. Like, I'm not deluded. Like, we're not going to get any of the better options out there. So yeah, it makes sense. But like, you're going to be spending 60 to 80 million on somebody who's not going to get you any assists, has never gotten more than 15 goals a season, can't contribute to build up. And so I feel like that will be a purchase that we will revisit a lot sooner than probably we want to. Um, but would I take him at Arsenal if that's the option that's there? Yeah, knowing that I think in 4 years or so, we'll be like, he's reached his peak, and it's probably not world class, if that makes sense. I'm just saying that that's how I feel. But great player, you know, loving the outfits, fashionista, loving it, would take
You
him at
like what he
Arsenal.
wears. You like it.
I do think the outfits are cool. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm from LA, so that's
Yeah,
sort of my
I'm
jam.
like the other way with it, where I'm like, I'm like sort of. I think what he wears, and I'm not even like, I know he did the shoot recently where, and it may not have even been a skirt he was wearing. It might have been some. You know, sometimes like when you're ignorant to fashion, you might see him and go, "That looks like a skirt," and it turns out to be called something completely different. And people are like, when Beckham wore sarong, like all the lads I knew were like, "Why is he wearing a skirt?" And no, it's the girls are like, "No, it's a sarong." But I'm not really into what he wears. But I'm also like, I don't hate on him for doing it. It's like, go do you, brother. Do you know what I mean? Whatever makes you feel good. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
and
mean,
that's
I like the
yeah.
confidence and stuff, and don't get me wrong, like, I think obviously they're like Kieran Tierney. He puts in amazing crosses and gets no assists because there's nobody there to put them away. So
Mm.
he would improve us, but do I envision him ever getting to Robin van Persie level, to anything high? No, I don't. So I think we'll revisit it. But yeah, but he's going to be very, very expensive, very, very expensive, especially if you want to get him in January, which I don't know if that is actually a realistic possibility, because like Everton are backing Rafa Benitez. I'm not sure if you're backing him by taking away his best asset, so it'd
A
be
lot,
difficult.
a lot of people asking in the comments, do you fancy Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Is that what it's saying?
Not really. I just like the confidence. It's a vibe. Like, I like the confidence that he just walks out and wears what he wants to wear and says, "Forget it." I think it's cool.
There we go. There's your answer, people. The people who are asking the questions like, does he fancy Calvert-Lewin? She probably does. He's a good-looking guy. Why not? It's, why would it shock? Why would it shock you? Like, it is what it is. Who would be the person you would want though to come in? Because you need another striker. Lacazette is below average. Aubameyang is what he is right now. You know, Martinelli, is he ever going to be an out-and-out number 9 or central player? I don't know. Maybe you guys know more than me as
I
Arsenal
think he
fans.
will. I think he will, but he's a ways off it. So
He's way
yeah,
off
we
it,
can't
yeah.
really
Plus,
count on him now.
he has got them injury issues as well. So you need more than one. I think when you're a club the size of Arsenal, who would be your pick? Because you've got Isak who is available. Like, what are you saying?
Uh that's the toughie, because there's only like 5 world-class strikers in the world. And then there are the younger ones like Mbappe and Haaland, and we're not going to be anywhere near being able to get to them. So everything underneath that is a risk. We've already talked about Vlahovic. He doesn't want to come. He's not interested. Fine. He's I You have Isak, who is going to cost an arm and a leg, but he's really raw. And how long is it going to take for him to actually start scoring goals? I think that that's something. If Aubameyang was still, if Aubameyang was performing like Vardy, you could bring in Isak, but you can't. So I think you kind of have to go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin because he is 24, 25 years old. So, and he's Premier League proven. He may not have the highest ceiling out of everybody, but he can get something done. And then I personally like Jonathan David from Lille as a Lacazette replacement. He's what I envision Balogun becoming, but he's already kind of there. Is he going to get you off your seat? Does he have the name? No, but he's somebody that would work with what we're doing right now. And we need a kind of like a better version of Ollie Watkins, and that's kind of what he is. So those are the 2 that I would choose. Is it ideal? No. Would I prefer to be able to, like, actually go after the top guys? Of course, but, like, we are not shopping there. We're shopping in, like, Target.
I
Y'all
love
have
Target.
Target?
No, but I've been Target. Target's cool. We have
Yeah, it's
so
like
viewers. We
Target
we
is
have
upscale, like, regular stuff, you know?
yeah, we have Matalan for that.
Yeah, that's where we are. Like, we're kinda bougie, we're out there, but we're definitely not at Barney's.
It's like cheap
Like, whatever.
bougie. It's sort of like, yeah, because like
Yeah, cheap bougie, yeah.
it'll look good. It'll look good for a while,
Yeah,
and
but
then
then
you realize it's cheap.
you'll need to buy something else at some point,
Yeah, so you
you
buy a
know?
T-shirt from Matalan. Ah, that's all right for a little T-shirt, and then you wash it, and then one arm's too short and shit like that.
Well, it'll probably wash a couple more times,
Maybe
not
a
just
couple
once,
more
but you
times.
get what I'm saying.
So this Matalan is for poor people, bruv. I grew up poor, so that's for me. There's an
Is that equivalent to Target?
well, I've been to Target and I've been to Matalan, and for me, they were both the same type of shop. That's how I
Oh,
felt.
we can't trust you. We can't trust you because you don't know what you're looking for. You guys, is Madeline similar to Target? Let me know.
I don't care. Again, it's what I think. There's a question here for you that says, Jess, do you own a gun at home?
No, I'm not a Texan. I don't own a gun.
You're letting your country down. TK Maxx, Terry. Okay, yeah, TK Maxx could be. See, but I look at TK Maxx as being worse than Matalan. And although they have designer labels, TK Maxx is like a big fucking jumble sale. That's all I see it as. I don't like TK Maxx.
Okay, so that
You know,
might be like our TJ Maxx.
you're a TJ Maxx.
We have a
That's
TJ Maxx.
so sad. DJ, thank you very much, my guy, and also for sending me through all those news stories when they break. Really, really, really do appreciate that. Viewers, we are going to open up the lines very soon for you to phone in and have your say on straight facts. Tell us what
Oh, we're
speak
doing
about
phone
what
in?
you. What? It's all right, man.
We usually don't do phone in. We're doing that today.
I know.
Nice.
I thought we'd mix it up a little bit if anybody fancies coming on and having their say. But before that, we're going to go into the quick fire round. I wonder if it'll be 4 weeks running where Jess has not done her homework and is not ready for a quick fire question.
Oh, so we're gonna do that every time now. Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the show. It's part of what we do. So yes, viewers,
No, I'm sorry. I'm Aubameyang right now, and it was a miscommunication and it's a misunderstanding. I don't like you calling
all
me out
right.
in public like
Well,
this.
listen. Do you know what they say? If I'm gonna
Arteta.
So I'm gonna have to strip you. I'm gonna have to strip you of your captaincy, and if you become toxic in the group chat, I will have to remove you from the group chat. I'm gonna stand by my word to prove I was bang on. I'm always
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Time for the quick fire round now. Members, get your comments in, super chats in as well. Let's go. So, what's your quick fire round question for me? What's the quick fire round question for me?
What's the quick fire for me so I can think?
Okay, I'll ask you one first of all. So, do
Why am I
you think
blurry?
it's come on, let's focus now. Let's focus now.
Okay.
Focus. Do
Alright.
you think the Premier League clubs are right? Do you think the Premier League are right to not allow any more teams to postpone matches due to COVID-related illnesses?
Do I think it's right?
Yeah.
No. No, like uh, no. They just have to have the same rules for everyone, but you should be able to ask for the postponement and there should be a set requirement. It just sucks because if you tell somebody, well, you got to have 8 and you only have 5, it's going to feel unfair. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's fair that, like, no. No, I think there should be postponements because health and safety is more important than anything for every single team, really. But I get what they don't want to have to cancel games. It's looking bad already. I think Watford and Burnley just got canceled or postponed.
Mm.
So I think we're right around the corner from another, lockdown or stoppage or whatever. But no, I think that everybody should have the opportunity. Like, yeah, but at the same time, the clubs have to also take responsibility in this and make sure that their players are adhering to all the safety measures and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I hear you on that. We had some super
Yeah.
chats from earlier that we saved as well. Here's one for you while you're still thinking. Would a striker like Firmino be perfect for Arsenal's system?
No. And the reason for that is Firmino plays with Sadio Mane and Salah, two players that are basically get 15 to 20 goals plus a season. We're playing with Emile Smith Rowe, Martinelli, and Bukayo Saka. So whoever plays in the center actually has to be able to contribute more goals. And so having a false nine for me doesn't work when you don't have two players flanking them and goals from midfield. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, we just don't have that. So a false nine only really works for certain teams that get goals from everywhere, and we're not there yet. We need somebody who can score goals.
I hear you on that. Aaron here said Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a baller. He would pick up a lot of goals from those whipped-in balls. But he believes he's a step up from Aubameyang and Laka. Is he a step up from those two, in your opinion?
In their current form, yes. I think Aubameyang, if a couple of years ago, is superior to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I do. But now, absolutely. Like, it doesn't take much at the moment to be better than Aubameyang and Lacazette right now. Let's keep it 100. But yeah, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's a step up.
Would you take Liam Delap on loan? Is it worth the risk?
He's the kid at Man City?
I believe that's Rory Delap's son, who is famous for his long throw-in at Stoke.
But he's at Man City, that guy?
I believe so.
No.
No.
No offense.
Baz one says, it is right the NFL had it right. You all have reserves and youth teams. You should have to field a team. But I think it's right to a degree on that point about the COVID thing. I think it's right to a point to make the teams play, as long as they're following that. You know, they have a major. There has to be. They don't want to cancel the season again, and I think that they put the protocols in place. As long as people are sticking to it, there shouldn't be too much of an issue. And everything else, like nobody should be arriving at your training ground if they've tested positive, because you shouldn't be doing the test at the training ground. Therefore, there's no need to shut it, and you can train a team. The only reason Man United's game was postponed is because they had to shut the training complex. But I think they're going to have to. I think again, I don't know here. I'm purely speculating. I think some messages might have gone out as if to say, look, you know, we can't allow this to keep happening. This is the protocol. Follow it. Otherwise, you're going to be made to field, you know, the under 16 teams in the Champions League. So I think they've gone.
To be fair, that's what they did to Villa. They did that to Villa last season. They played with, like, for a large part of that season. They did that. So I get it's a tricky place to be in, because they don't want to cancel the season. And then there's also people that are not following the protocols or giving their team the best possible chance of not contracting COVID. So the Premier League is putting pressure, like, on the teams and all of that. But it's a difficult position to be in. And quite frankly, I'm glad I'm not making the decision.
Yeah, it's one of those things in life where it's like, I don't like a lot of politicians, but at the same time, I'd never want to do their job. Like, I never want to do that job.
No, hell no.
What are you laughing at?
Jess, would you take Alonso at Arsenal? He'd be good for your club. We love your leftovers.
He's better than Tierney, though. He's better than Tierney.
Nah, I'd keep my Tierney. Sorry.
Your Tierney costs too much money in medical bills, though, so I'd move him on.
Man.
Does Jess think that Arsenal will sell Aubameyang in January in the summer? Touchy subject. Don't talk about it. There's no problems at the club. You're making a big problem out of nothing, Terry. He's going to stay. He has no influence. No one even likes him at the club, basically, is what Jess
First of all,
so Jess,
you lost that one. Everybody, you lost that one.
Aubameyang has no influence at the club, man. Like, none. There's like none of the club. So there's no need to sell him. We'll just keep him here. He'll come on as a sub. Whenever we need him, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That's basically what Jess said.
Just hold the L, Terry. Everybody in the comment section told you lost that one. So it's okay.
When people say you're a politician and sitting on your fence. I saw what you did in the I saw what you did in the argument, though, Jess. You went back to your, like, oh, but I've got to back Arteta because I need to, as an American, I need to step up and show the English Arsenal fans I'm truly.
Do you see what I'm saying? So I can't say anything about your Englishness, But you're going to talk about me and being American?
You are American.
I am, but you make it like it's a bad thing.
No. So when it comes to the English thing, you said I only like Trippier because he's English. That's different. You are American. But you done yourself again there. You done yourself again.
Okay, anyways, what was the question? He
The
said,
question
do I think
was-
Aubameyang's going to get sold?
Yeah, in Jan.
Hell nah. You guys, come on. No. Ain't nobody taking him.
You know what it is? Forget that for a minute. Just forget that question.
See, I try
want
to answer
sell
the
him in Jan?
question.
No, that's cool.
What?
I hear you. But you're sitting on the fence. You're like, oh, but I don't think anyone will buy him. So that's not a real answer. Right now, I'm willing to buy him at my club. My club is Joe Bloggs FC. Are you selling him to me?
I never wanted him resigned.
Do you want him out the club?
I've never wanted him resigned. See, this is what's funny about you is you act like you don't know this.
Yes or no?
Okay.
I know the answer.
Terrace community. Terrace community. I'm talking to the terrace community right now. No, I never wanted him resigned. I never said sign the team.
Cool.
I never wanted him here. I wanted him sold this past summer. He didn't get sold. Any opportunity that we'll get to get rid of him, I would sell him.
Okay, so
period.
Let me just say something. I know that because we're all part of group chats and there's regular conversations. I'm sorry that I don't know how to say. I'm trying to work out how to say this without making it sound. The audience that watches our show isn't privy to those conversations. Thus, I ask you questions. So, as the host, I often will ask questions that I know the answer to, not so I learn, so the viewers hear the answer.
Yeah, but that's not what you were doing. That's not what you were doing.
What I was doing is this.
Don't you want him sold?
No,
don't you want him sold?
Because people are asking from the point of view of, do you think he'll get sold? Your answer is that I don't think it will happen. I'm like, yeah, but tell him what you want to happen.
No, he asked, do I think he'll be sold in January and December? And I answered that question.
And then I added something additional one, but please tell them what you want to happen.
I already told you.
And you don't like doing it. Oh, no, the North London Arsenal fans might say I'm a fake. Oh, no, I don't want to upset them. My base. Donald Trump over there.
I've never said that in my whole life.
That's not what
You're putting words in my mouth.
No,
you know what's so funny? Because if I say something, you said, I never said World War III. I never said World War III. But if I say something, well, you know what? I've never said that.
What
you didn't have to say it. This is how I interpreted it.
What have you not said? You said you wanted Aubameyang gone.
Yeah, but still.
What?
Still.
What?
Still.
No.
No.
Said it.
Twisted says Jess needs a shoulder massage, and I do because he's stressing me out.
That's because you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong, honey. I'm never wrong.
Do you know that's funny? Do you know that's funny? That's funny. You literally just said that you don't want Aubameyang at the club, and then you said that I'm putting words in your mouth when I say you want him out. What's that?
No.
What?
Please explain.
What have I done something wrong? Have you got my?
See what I'm dealing with?
Have you got my?
Understand what I'm
Have you got
with?
my quick fire question
Do
ready?
you get it? Because the reason why is because every time I leave the show, I feel like I was put in a blender and just it just dropped on the table. Like, and I'm just like, what's gone on? What's happened?
Nothing happened. You just said
that's because you always have a little argument and you're like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyways, my quick fire.
Danny DT here says, "Life, like Terry, life lesson: agree with a female to have a good life."
Exactly.
Anyway, what's your quick fire question for me, please, Jessica?
My quick fire question is:
we could start calling you Jess Arteta. That's what we can call you. It all fits in.
Oh, because that's so good. That was so good. It's creative. So good.
Did you love him?
Anyway,
we're defending him.
Anyways. So I don't defend that hairstyle. I don't defend that shellacked hair that he has on the top of his head.
I thought about mine for a second. I was like, "Wow,
you ain't got no hair."
That's true. I could.
Anyways, my quick fire is: do you think we were wrong? Like, or no, not we. Do you think that you underestimated Man City because you felt like they needed a striker, but now they just? I mean, 1-7 put 7. Past leads, do you think you've made an error because you've underestimated them? Which
yes. I always admit my mistakes. That's why when people call me out in the comments
Somebody.
and say like Terry's twisted, when I get something wrong, I always say I'm wrong. I always do it. And that's why I
Do you
get.
guys see these? Do you see this?
I just admitted I was wrong. Did I not? Did I just say I underestimated them? Did I just say that?
Oh man, go ahead.
Did I?
Go ahead and do your story.
As one just said in the comments, the season isn't over yet, but as it stands right now, they're starting to score more. Remember, when I was questioning them, 30% of their games they hadn't scored goals in. And all I really said was, is they either, if you go back to a lot of the streams, it was they either have to start scoring or they're going to need to buy somebody. And they really have started to score goals. Liverpool went through a period where they were struggling to keep goals out. They looked a little bit leaky. They've fixed that problem. Interestingly, the one team that looked practically perfect that me and you both backed was Chelsea. They're the ones who look a little bit sketchy now. So they're the one. You know what I mean?
I always said City would win the league. I always said City would win the league.
I know that, but me and you recently were talking about the most perfect, the most balanced looking team was Chelsea, right? You literally said that.
I always said City
You're
would
lying!
win the league.
Oh my God. My God, you liar. Liar. Absolute
I didn't know what you were talking about when you were saying Chelsea would win the league. I always said City would win. I always said Liverpool would make top 4.
Okay, but
I always said that. No. I hear you. These things happen, though. I mean, I don't think we ever anticipate. Like, we never said that because I never. Well, let me just speak for myself. When I always thought that it would be close. So I never thought anybody.
Really
No.
No. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm backing. Just wait a second for me. Jess wasn't lying. She was being sarcastic. Just so we know, there's a difference between sarcasm and lying. I'm trying to interject and say it really quickly. I'm very sorry. Go on, continue. Sorry.
No, yeah, I think we always kind of thought like it was going to be close. And so this is going to happen throughout the season. I still don't think anybody's going to run away with it. I think Chelsea are going through a little bit of a slump, but still, it's very, very close. I am going to say that maybe I did underestimate City just a little bit. What I seen them do against Leeds was like, yeah. And I've seen them do it before, so I don't know why I act like I've never seen it before. But I still think Chelsea, to me, is right in there. I know that there's some people that feel like because they've never really been in this position before, and Klopp and Pep are so experienced in going after the Premier League, against each other. But I just have this weird feeling that Chelsea is not only going to be there and thereabouts, but it's going to be like they're going to be switching places the entire season. That's what I hope, because as an outsider that's not involved, that's more fun to watch. So.
Yeah, I hear you. And I don't think it's as over as people are making out, but I do think Thursday night's going to be a big pivotal point. If Chelsea and Liverpool, or both, allow City to push this 4 points or more in, it does become harder and harder for them to kind of pull that back, because City look like they're going to be relentless. But we haven't had City have never had a 3-horse race since they've been at their best. So for me, it's just going to be very intriguing to see how that all works. But look, thank you for the quick fire round, everybody. Really do appreciate that. We're going to share the link now in the comment sections if you want to phone in, if you want to have your say and ask us a question. Remember, you've got about 20 to 30 seconds to ask your question and challenge any points that you've got.
Challenge Terry, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
What I also want you to do for me as well, people, is make sure you go and follow our Twitch account. That link was pinned to the live comment section, the whole show. It's also in the description below as well. I'm going to ping it into the live comment section again as well, because I want to see you over there. We are bringing exclusive Twitch live watch-alongs for games. It was meant to start on Thursday, but because I've got the old COVID, that isn't doable. But it'll be starting next week exclusively on Twitch. So make sure you go and follow that. There's like 1,200 of you watching still now, so I expect a good 1,000 of you to go over there and follow that account. It's going to be great over there. We've got some brilliant guests coming on. It's going to be lots of fun as well. First caller of the day to join Jess and I will be young Tommy. Young Tommy, hopefully Jess has learned to position. One thing about your camera positioning, I do need you to make sure that it's upright and against you.
The reason why it's like that.
Let me finish speaking. Is because when we go into this angle, and I mean we're three next to each other, if you're not bang in the middle, your face goes out of shot. So, young Tommy's coming on the show now to have his say with us. Who's an Arsenal fan? What is your face all about? Smash the like and share button, people. Let's go. Oh, brilliant. Ah, look at that. It worked.
It was close.
Young Tommy, what you saying, mate? Tommy. I don't know where Tommy's gone. I can't hear Tommy. Can anyone else hear Tommy? Or is it just us that can't hear Tommy? It's just us. He said we're gonna go to Jonathan instead. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm good. I'm good, bro. What's up?
Yeah, I'm all good, my man. What do you want to say? What's on your mind?
I'm an Arsenal fan. That's first, and I want to ask just this first question. If there's one thing that Mikel Arteta can improve as a manager, or maybe two things, what do you think he could improve to maybe take a step forward?
Well, I think since the beginning, what he could have improved upon was using the players that he has ability. I think he spent quite a bit of time not using his best attackers and not playing to their strengths. And sometimes you have to play to your players' strengths. Like you're not going to always get a new, fresh batch of players. And sometimes I feel like he thinks he's at City and that they're just going to buy him a new world-class striker and a new attacker and all of this. And I feel like Pepe, in some respects, and Aubameyang have suffered from that. So I would like to see him use the team, a lot better and play to their strengths. And then I guess when he gets stressed out, can he not overthink it? I think when he gets stressed out, he buckles and he starts making decisions that don't make sense. Like against Everton, he had Xhaka and Tierney, two players that haven't played in a while. And he basically took away two subs, and Lacazette, he can't play 90 minutes. And he could have just played one of Xhaka or Tierney, but he decided to really switch it up, take Lokonga out. It was really strange. So I think when he gets under pressure, he needs to learn how to just keep things simple. But other than that, he just has to get better. You guys, I'm not using OnlyFans. Do you see this? Anyway.
Just get the question answered. Listen, Jonathan, thank you very much indeed, my friend. I know you did. Thank you very, very much indeed. I did see that OnlyFans comment, and I was like, well, we can just ignore that. You didn't need to respond to it. Like we left it there. But a few people asking for the link. We'll share the link later on the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's a joke. There isn't any. It's it's mad, right?
Choose your words carefully.
No, it's nothing to do with you. No, it's nothing to do with you. There's a girl that's joining the terrace soon, who recently. No, I can't even go into it actually. But
yeah.
There we go. No, I'm not going to go into it because it isn't. It's not private, but I'm not going to bring it up. A lot of people now believe it's true.
Look what you've done.
I didn't do it. Someone else wrote the comment, not me.
Look what you've done.
Me? How did I do that?
Yeah.
How was that me?
I don't know. But it was your fault.
Hang on. We've got a guy called Nick that's called in. Nick looks like his missus is about to give birth. Looks like he's in the scrubs here. What are you saying, Nick?
Yo, what's up, man? What's up? Man United.
Bro, what are you wearing?
Huh? I'm at work, man.
What are you?
Are you a doctor?
I'm a tech.
Okay, cool.
In New Jersey, out of New Jersey, man.
Nice. Sopranos land. Love it, my guy. What are you here to say, brother?
Well, what's going on at my club, man? We're not doing good. Man United, man. What's going on, man?
It's all right,
we break my heart every week, man.
Speak that truth.
Broke my heart every week, Terry. Broke my heart every week.
Very, very sorry, Nick, for a minute. Jess, just why us Champions League people speak. Just be quiet for a moment, please. You know what I mean? Why the Champions League people speak? Go make us a drink and a sandwich, and we'll speak during the season. Right? You know what I mean? Champions League talk here.
Oh my God,
chat. You know what I mean? Sit in the corner with your Arsenal fans. Young Tommy will be here to talk to you in a minute. I'm only messing. look, we'll get better. Some good news for us. Rafael Varane is due back for the Brighton game.
Yeah, but sorry, I still don't think the team playing well though. We're not playing well. We're not controlling the game.
Sorry, a comment just made me laugh. Saying, "Has this guy just removed the kidney?" Sorry, no, we're not playing. We're not playing great football at the minute, but I'm sure that it will come, Nick. I really, really am. Listen, my brother, I'll let you get back to work because it looks like you're doing some real serious business over there in New Jersey.
Yeah, man. I'm in the OR, man. Over here in New Jersey, man. Marston Medical Center. Big up, Terry. Big up. Always watch the Terrace, man.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that, my
brother. I'm a big fan, man. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, Nicky. Top man. All the best. Thank you. I love New Jersey. I love that part of America. That part of America,
You ain't
like
never
New
been
Jersey,
there.
New Jersey, New York, all those. That's the best part of America.
Have you been? Oh, have you been to New Jersey or no?
I've been to New Jersey. Is Newark in New Jersey? Because I've been to Newark.
Yeah.
I've been to New York. I've been to like in that kind of region of America. I've been to about 5, 6 places. Love it.
Talking about that's
Philadelphia,
proper America.
It's proper America, man. Like when it's this. I look at proper America as what color are things when it's Christmas and it's white. Like that's proper. Like you guys have like.
There's so many. Okay, you need to stop talking now. No, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there with you. Like I'm not even gonna go there.
I'm talking about snow. Before anyone gets weirded out, I'm talking about snow. Like, when it comes to Christmas,
the color of things, it's white.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking snow. You know what I mean? I was talking about snow here.
Oh my goodness, I could not.
Well, it's true. Like growing up as a kid, like when you think about like America and you think like the films and Christmas, it was never done in California or Texas. It's always where there's snow, where there's lights, where it's cold. Just that's my memory. Yeah, it's
everybody comes to Cali. This is so dead. Like, come on. Like
I know
everybody comes to Cali.
And I know it does, but that part of America for me, that East Coast, is like proper America. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But there we go. Home Alone, yes, exactly. Well, Home Alone is Chicago. It's Chicago for the first one, and then it's Chicago at the beginning, and then New York in number 2. So Lost in New York, yeah, literally, yeah. It's in the title of the film, the second one, Lost in New York, proper America. But there we go. California is sunny and beautiful. It is a very sunny and beautiful place. LA is proper.
No, we don't want you here anyway.
Is what Mike Keel says. He says that's proper America. Some people would say Texas is proper America. Depends on what you're looking for, I suppose.
I'm not even gonna lie. I told Terry this before, that if he was American, he'd be from Texas. He'd be from Texas, and
I don't know, but I think that's a compliment, right?
Sure.
And didn't you say like your dream is the one they live on a ranch like a cowgirl?
I don't think I've ever said that.
Like, didn't you say like cowboys with cowboy hats?
I never said that.
You're lying. That's that won't go down my street. On my base won't like that. My base won't like it because they'll think I'm a Trump.
Base.
Your base. I hear you. Do you know what I mean?
Anyways.
There we go. Someone says so much for you being big up TFT. Says so much for you being ill, Terry. Now I do have COVID. I didn't say that I was on my deathbed. Mad. Big up TFT.
He is sick.
I am sick. Terry is a hillbilly shooting rifles. I think there's a little bit of racial stereotyping going on now. Next on the show, Abs is here. He's a Chelsea fan. What he's saying, Abs?
Yeah, so there's
hey.
Hey, what's up? What are you telling me? You good?
Yes, my bro.
Good. So there's 2 questions. First off, I want to ask about Martial. Terry, do you think Martial has been a flop for Man United, or do you think he's just been an underwhelming signing based on, the expectations around him when you first copped him? Some man was saying he's the new Thierry Henry and that, which he obviously isn't because Henry's level's clear of him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that he's necessarily been a flop. I think that's too harsh because he's won FA Cups and he was pivotal in that. He won Europa Leagues and a League Cup. So he's won trophies at the club. I think flop's too far. I think him, like a lot of players in this last 9 years, have been hindered by the lack of quality, the lack of cohesion and management at the football club. I can't sit here and blame the Glazers. I can't sit here and blame the managers, and then equally blame the players with equal measure. If we were run properly with the right people making decisions, with the right people coaching us and orchestrating the team, I think people like Martial would have done better. But to say he hasn't been a superstar, standout, amazing signing, I think he's about hit par, if I'm being honest. If I balance things up and be honest about him, I'd say he's hit about par, all things being equal.
Yeah, I hear that. And this one, I want to ask about Man City. So I hear everyone saying that City haven't really done it in the Champions League. And for me, I kind of deep in it was saying, oh, no European pedigree. And I just deep in like, you see all the top teams in England, when they won Champions League, they always beat some of the elite teams in Europe. Like if you look at United in 2008, they beat a Barca team that was wavy. When we won the Champions League in 2012, we beat the second best Barca team, because I think Rijkaard was better in my opinion. And we beat an unbelievable unbelievable Bayern team, sorry. And then even when, even Liverpool in 05, they beat that Milan team as well. I don't think Manchester City have come up against a team as good as those kind of teams, which is why I don't think they've been able to make over the line when it comes to Champions League. So what do you reckon?
Yes, I mean the most famous example would be if you look in the 98-99 season, United had Jess's face. Man United had Barca and Bayern in their group, and then had to knock out Inter, Juve at their peaks, two of their peak teams, and then Bayern Munich again in the final. So you kind of had this situation where it was just hard teams the whole way through. Man City can't dine at the elite end table of world football until they win a Champions League. Nobody can. You have to have that trophy to be. You can have a huge fan base. You can have, huge stadia. You can have great domestic success. But it's like there are things, something that needs to be ticked to move into that gargantuan category. Madrid have it. AC Milan have it, Liverpool have it, Bayern Munich have it, Man United have it. Man City have got a way to go until they get there. They have to win that. They have to win that trophy. They have to do it. As far as I'm concerned, Man City can't be given a pass. Oh yeah, you're on the world elite with everybody else without a world elite, the world elite trophy. That doesn't make sense to me. I think they have to be held to that for me. Chelsea have it. They've got two. But Chelsea could win. Chelsea win one this year and go two on the bounce and have three. You start to argue you've got a better European pedigree than Manchester United. And that's painful for me. You've got to look at it. So, yeah, I agree with you completely, Abs.
Yeah, but that's about it for me.
Top man, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. Appreciate it. Do you agree to be one of the biggest clubs in the world, Jess, that you need that European trophy?
Stop this.
Do you think Man City need
to
it?
death.
So do you think Man City need it or not?
According to Terry's standards, yes.
Okay, no, I'm asking
you. Make the rules. You make the rules, apparently.
No, I don't make the rules.
I mean, I think it's harsh on them if they don't if they continue on to be as dominant as they have been, and they win more Premier Leagues. Which do we really believe that at this point in time it's easier? Is it easier to win the Champions League, or is it easier to win the Premier League? If they were to continue on with this level of domination, and the only thing that they didn't tick the box for, I feel like that's harsh, but that's just me. But yeah, I would expect this team with the caliber of players that they have to win it, and Pep to win it, but he may not get a chance to do it, which would be kind of a shame. So I kind of agree.
Be beautiful.
We're not talking about Man United right now.
Beautiful.
And you guys try to hold on to your little bit of dignity.
No, it's no dignity.
Because you let the noisy neighbors take you out. At least,
they haven't taken us. They're better than us now, but they ain't taking us out until they get 21 league titles. But the point, but that's okay. Hang on. Whoa, but you've opened a can of worms now.
No, I haven't.
So based on that logic, Chelsea are bigger than you then.
No.
You done yourself. You done yourself.
Have I done myself?
Because you just said that the noisy neighbours have overtaken us, but they don't have more trophies than us or more league titles than us because they're winning more than us now. Chelsea are winning more than you now and bigger trophies than you now in the last 4, 5, 6 years. So therefore, they're bigger than you by your own logic.
But see, the issue is that every time that I've come on here, which is weird because when I come on here, if Arsenal fans say something else, but I've said something, it's like it doesn't compute. I've said that Chelsea has surpassed us. I've said that Chelsea has surpassed us.
You
I've said
think they
that many
have?
times.
So you think they? I don't remember. Actually, I swear to you, on my kid's life, I don't remember hearing you say that. So
But apparently, I also said title-winning defense. I said top four.
hang
It's
on,
like
hang on,
any
hang
Arsenal
on,
fan
hang
that
on.
comes on
Stop,
here, I
stop,
get dragged with
stop,
their
stop,
stuff. I never
stop,
said that.
stop. But have I openly said that you didn't say that?
Huh?
I've openly said on the stream that you haven't said those things, haven't I? So why are you having a go at me for that?
I'm
I've
not having a
defended
go
you.
at you. I'm not really having a go at you. What I'm saying is that I've already said that Chelsea has surpassed us. They've never been a rival
I've never.
because they took our spot and they
Sometimes, no, Jess, I've had this conversation with you a few times. I didn't know you'd said that, so I don't know what you said. I don't know.
You should remember everything that I've ever said since I've been on here.
I don't remember it, so I'm asking it again. It's if I remembered it, I wouldn't ask it. Like I never asked. Yeah, come on. Like I never knew that.
But I haven't done myself because I already admitted that they've surpassed us. So there you go. That was the point.
Then I stand
So I
corrected.
haven't done myself.
Then I'll stand corrected, but you have admitted that
So
Chelsea are bigger
you're
than you.
wrong.
So Chelsea
You're
are.
wrong.
I'm wrong to not think that you'd said that, but my point. Your point is that you think. So you also think Man City are bigger than Man United?
Not really, not yet.
I'm not trying
but
to
I
catch
can
you
see
out.
it happening.
I'm asking like real questions here. I'm just trying to understand.
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny. Like I just think it's funny. Like Man City definitely have a ways to go, but I could definitely see them getting there at some point, unless you guys were able to like, kickstart into gear. Ralph does his thing, whatever. But I think City, they can. But when it comes to Arsenal and Chelsea, they've been consistently really competitive since 2004. And that's arguably the time that we started to decline, really. And I just think that they completely washed us aside. I don't view them as rivals like that at all. So it's kind of like
I hear you on that.
it is.
I do hear you on that. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would disagree with you that they're bigger. And H7 here says, Jesse's right. You always categorize us, Terry. See, I think you guys and I know Jess misunderstands this. Jess can wither her head around like the Churchill dog all she wants. But see, you don't see the Churchill dog. See, you don't have that advert in the States, but there's a dog that's like got a shaking head in a car that like moves its head around when you drive. That's what you did. But I don't categorize you all, H7. I ask questions to other Arsenal fans based on what I hear other Arsenal fans say. We are fan media, so our biggest focus on opinion is what fans say. So if Jess today says, like she just done, and someone said that, like, and I never remember ever hearing this before, but Chelsea are bigger. When it's relevant, I might say to another Arsenal fan, according to Jess, who's an Arsenal fan, or a number of Arsenal fans have all agreed with this on the terrace in the past, that Chelsea are bigger than you. What do you think? That isn't categorizing all Arsenal fans. It's asking other Arsenal fans to give opinions on other Arsenal fans' opinions. That's exactly what football conversation has always been about. So it isn't categorizing you all as the same thing. Often I'll turn around to Jess and say, "Oh, what about all the Arsenal fans that said you could have made top four? What about the Arsenal fans that have said that you should be challenging for this?" I'm asking for an opinion on that opinion as opposed to just her views in isolation, because I want to stimulate conversation. Not going to apologize for it. It's what we've done since day dot, and it's what every other single fan channel on the planet does. So why should the football terrace be any different? It shouldn't. That's it. End of story.
Yeah, the whole bigger thing.
Yeah, go on.
No, the thing about the whole bigger conversation is that, we can argue that, we're one of the more like historical big clubs. Like, we're that. We have a long history. We have a huge brand and all of that. I get that aspect of things. But for me personally, it's when you look at it, I do feel like there's going to be a group of new fans that are going to choose Chelsea because of what they are now. So even if they're not bigger than us right now, because we have a longer history and all of that, eventually the fans that chose Arsenal will die off. And those new fans that are younger, that are buying the merch, that are keeping our brand big now, are going to eventually be Chelsea fans and Man City fans. So whether we like it or not, if you view us as bigger now, that's fine, but we won't be bigger for very much longer, because what really matters is people choose teams now especially outside of England, because of what they're doing. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I chose Arsenal for certain reasons, but a lot of it was because they were really, really, really good. So it's the reality of it. If we're not competitive, nobody's choosing us. And we also don't play good football. That's another way that you can get fans. We don't play good football and we're not competitive at the highest level. So regardless, we will not be bigger than them for very much longer if we are still bigger than them, which I question.
Great answer. Absolute great answer there.
Of course it was. Please. Sheesh.
Right.
Clip that one.
Yeah, but do you know why I would never clip that one? Because no one cares about good answers. Do you know, that's crazy. I was saying
gosh.
I was saying that to somebody the other day, right? I'll give you I was talking to someone about that the other day. They were like, "Oh, I said, can you remember the last time somebody went viral? Forget the terrace for giving a good opinion."
Huh?
Yeah, like no one does. It's always like when someone's renting, slamming someone, or people disagree with them. That's it. And it's like, that's great. But sometimes though, I put things out and I don't think they're going to pick up traction, and they do. Sometimes I clearly know they're going to get attention. Like when Sonny said that Klopp had ruined his legacy, I knew what that was going to get. Not to that degree, but it's weird stuff that I put out. Like I didn't think Lee Gunner saying that Mbappe is overrated would get so much hate, because I actually thought his logic made some sound sense. But comparing it to the other strikers he was in a category with, people are like, nah, it's wrong. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. Like sometimes I don't see what other people see. But there we go. Something else I tweeted earlier on today, which has triggered people, where I said that Man United paved the way for other English clubs to join European tournaments. And people have got very angry about that. And it is true. It's mad.
But why is it relevant?
Why's what relevant?
Why'd you even tweet that?
Because the Champions League themselves says, tell us which club you support without telling us which club you support. And I tweeted saying, we paved, as in my club, without naming him, I said, we paved the way for other English clubs to join European tournaments. We were the first English champions of the Champions League. It's obvious because we were tweeting. The first ever team to complete the real treble. And we have the most famous final of all time. That's without saying who I support. Does that make sense? And all those things for me are true. The only one that the only one that I would say is there is challenge on would be the most famous final. People have different views in their own minds. The reason I always say ours is 2 goals in 2 minutes that won the treble, the first ever treble, proper treble.
You see this man, he is gassed.
But more important than my first line, people don't. I bet you're unaware completely that without Man United, the original Busby Babes that died in Munich, without them persevering, European football for other clubs may not even have existed, because the English FA were trying to stop us for years from playing in Europe. They didn't like the idea of the English team showing the rest of Europe how we did things, how we played football. But it was Sir Matt Busby and the football club's ambition to widen football outside of the domestic realm and grow the European trophy, and trendsetters. And that isn't a braggy thing. That's something that everybody should be aware. I'm actually staggered how little that's spoken about in the world of football, like from a British standpoint, that what Man United did. And one of the reasons that when I've read books on the Munich air disaster, one of the reasons that, of course, it happened, bad weather, aviation wasn't as good then as it is now. But Man United were forced into rushing back after playing Red Star Belgrade. Man United had requested if they could have the game postponed. We had a Saturday game, we'd played on the Wednesday, and it was, you get back now as your game's forfeited, and that would have damaged our season. So when the weather was really bad, instead of Man United being able to take an extra night, stay in a hotel, wait for the weather to be better and fly back, they were forced into flying back sooner. And of course, there led the disastrous and tragic air crash. So the FA were only forcing us to come back because they didn't want us to go to the European game, because they didn't want English clubs in Europe. So our perseverance of a club has paved the way. It's just interesting that comment has really upset a lot of people, saying, "What are you talking about? That's nonsense." And I think that's not about Man United. That's about the FA and UEFA really educating football fans on what Man United did to help make European football from an English standpoint a thing. It's an important thing. But most people, I bet you weren't aware of that. I always guarantee you were, unless you've heard me say it before. But and again, I won't do it justice because I'm not a very good historian. But yeah,
You're not?
No, I'm not. I'm not a great reader due to my dyslexia, so I find it hard to retain the information through which I read. I'm a better listener than I am reader, if that makes sense. When I read things, it doesn't stay in because of my brain. But there we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. We're live after Arsenal versus West Ham tonight. Trying to get a bit of a panel together, actually. The Football Terrace group chat is almost dead these days. No one ever responds to any kind of work. They just want to like banter each other. But got a West Ham fan or two on the panel tonight, so it'd be good to have you all on after that game. We haven't really spoke about it much today, but it's probably been done to death on your channel and mine already. So good luck tonight, Jess, in the game. Hope that you get the result that you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, say something nice and you give me a dutty look. Do me a big favor. But actually, before you go, though, what's your score prediction tonight?
2-2.
2-2. Igal said 3-1. What do you reckon to that? Or is that category? I don't know. Is that okay to ask? 3-1? I can ask you is that okay what you said?
3-1 to who?
Arsenal. You said you're going to beat them 3-1.
Who's Igal?
Sorry, Igor. You know Zayn, the big man.
No comment.
He's come on 3 times now, Zayn. He comes straight in. He goes, "Where's Igor?" He keeps calling him Igor. It makes me laugh, and not even on purpose. He just his name is. I love it, Gal. He's great. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.